Good morning. I'm Mindy Meyer. I'm an assistant principal at Walla High School, and three of our teachers are going to be talking about how they use PLCs to create student growth. Many of you know Walla. It's in Eastern Washington. It's been getting a lot of press lately as a great place to visit, and it is. And you've probably heard maybe even about our wine. It's really quite good. However, while all of that is true, we've realized that our diversity, minority population, and the students we have served in Walla have changed quite a bit in the last few years. Because of that, we've really started looking at our practice to see that it is changing and improving, and that we are meeting the needs of the kids who are in front of us, as opposed to the kids that we have taught in the past. So part of our mission has been to grow and have better support for all students. So as a district, we want the most sought after graduates. We want people to say, these kids are fabulous. But as a school, what we really want, our mission has been to challenge and nurture and support all students to become college and career ready. And what we're really talking about there is we want them to have the skills to go out in the world and be successful. Using PLCs to have a focus on learning, a collective responsibility, and clear results has really improved that practice. And the two teams you will hear from, here were two themes that came through all the time. They talked about learning, not teaching. Now, sometimes that was the learning of the teachers, but it was all about the learning, and it was all about all our kids. You didn't hear my kids, your kids. Some important ideas within that was building trust and having common objectives. If we do not have trust, and one team had worked together for a very long time, the other team had never worked together. But because they knew what they were going to focus in on, they had common objectives, they knew what they were trying to accomplish, they were able to meet those goals, so they kept it non-personal. And that really made a difference in what they were able to accomplish. Once they had the common objectives, creating the common assessments with rubrics so they knew what they were looking at, how they were going to go about that work, and how they were going to focus in, and really giving that information to the kids. So it wasn't just, here's the common assessment, here's the common rubric, but getting that in front of the students and making sure that they had looked at it and had that information, and then doing the calibration, because oftentimes we talk about things like, oh, that's a strong opening sentence. Well, a strong opening sentence to me might sound different than it does to you. So having that conversation back and forth and being really clear on what that was going to look like really made a difference. All of those things together kept the focus on the learning. This is what we're going to do for all our kids all of the time. And that made a huge difference for our students. Then the next part was, okay, so we've done all these things, we've done all the kind of, not pre-work, because it's always the continual work, but what does the data tell us? How are the kids doing? And what does that mean for what we do next? And really it became about then targeting which kids needed additional support. Sometimes that was the whole class, sometimes that was individual instruction, sometimes that was small group work, but really getting down to the nitty-gritty. One of the teams looked at it more from the, here are the strategies we're using, how are we going to assess those, how does that work, where the other team really looked at the student learning and what strategies they would go about. But both of them always meant all means all. And if you talk to the teachers, they don't talk about your kids and my kids, it's our kids. How did all of them do? And what I'm really proud to say is that our collection of evidence kids in ELA, every single kid passed, and a few of those kids had only been in our country for a few years. So because of the work of the teachers, the kids were really successful. They kept a clear focus on what they wanted kids to know and be able to do, how they were going to assess it, what they would do if kids couldn't, and then what they would do if kids could. And really, it came down to the dedication and the focus of the PLC work, and they were high-functioning PLCs. We talk a lot about PLCs, but there's a difference between people planning and doing good work, and I'm not taking away from the fact that they're working hard, and taking it to that next level of, is it always about the learning? Because ultimately, we want our kids to walk across our stage at sunset on our Wahai Commons with the skills they need to be successful. Thank you.